Everyone is quitting social media, trying to fix their life. I didn't, but I still stopped using it. For the last 3-4 years, I haven't been a social media user. I am a creator, yes, but I'm not a user. May sound a bit counterintuitive to you, but let me tell you what changed for me and why I started seeing social media differently. Let me take you about 4 years back, a day when I was just scrolling Facebook casually, and I saw a post from my dad. Nothing special, just a normal post, something that I would have just liked and then scrolled past. However, I noticed that he posted it 5 days ago, and that made me pause. Because I have been on Facebook for all those 5 days. I was scrolling, refreshing, consuming, but my dad's post did not come in my feed. Now, on my Facebook, I only had about 150 people, out of which very few were active. So, why didn't I see my dad's post? Isn't that the only purpose of Facebook? To show us each other's posts so we stay connected? At that moment, I realized that it's not meeting that purpose anymore. And when I thought about it, I could not list a single thing that I saw out of those last 5 days which stood out to me, which made a memory, because nothing was specific. Everything was just generic fluff. Mostly ads, mostly people or companies trying to sell me products. And content from my friends is actually being hidden behind a wall. And once you notice that, you cannot unsee it. If you look at your Instagram feed right now, it's mostly what they want to show you. Yes, I know stories are there, but you can see the real estate that they spend on those stories and then the posts from strangers. And looking at that, you yourself know which one wins. When this happened, I drew my conclusion then and there. Social media is not social anymore. It's just media. And once I understood that, I got a perspective into this. If it is just media, that means all the media has to be on the same pedestal, on equal footing. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, Netflix, they are all media, because at the heart of it, they are all doing the same thing. Now it's my choice which media platform I'm gonna pick. Picking all of them is the biggest mistake ever. So the real question is no longer should I quit social media? That's not an option anymore. Social media ended years ago. However, the real question is which platform do you choose to consume? And that's when I made a decision not to quit anything, but to choose deliberately. I started looking at what actually deserves my time. And honestly, most platforms did not make the cut. I was just off them instantly. I did not delete my profiles. I did not delete the apps. I did not even need to do that, because just the realization that these apps are not serving their purpose anymore, that was enough for me. But if you feel you need to delete the app, please go ahead and do that. Because when I looked closely, these apps were not helping me grow. These apps were not teaching me anything. And these apps were not even properly entertaining me. Even at the funniest video, I will have a straight face. So all these apps were out. But here's the interesting part. Even after removing social media, the problem did not go away. Because then I became a Netflix addict. Different app, but same pattern. And that's when I understood the issue more deeply. The problem was never the platform or the app. The problem was me, who was always subconsciously consuming. I needed to change my behavior, my mindset, my digital habit. I have made this video on how I got rid of the Netflix addiction, which I'll link it somewhere here if you're interested. However, YouTube stayed for me. Because this is one place, if you choose properly, you can actually learn, you can actually grow, and you can actually change something about your life. And that is why I'm here too. One platform I use today is YouTube, but only with creative lens and only for learning. But then people usually ask me, you do not scroll, you do not binge watch, you are not on Instagram or Netflix, then what do you do all day? Don't you get bored? They genuinely think that I'm just bored and lonely. And to some extent, they're right. For the early days, it was definitely true. However, when you're bored, that's when you get creative. That's when you start reflecting on your life. That's when you start choosing consciously what you want to do with your time. And I chose to fill my time with really high value activities. I'll tell you how. But firstly, I didn't go extreme. I didn't lock my phone away. I didn't do a 30-day detox. I did make a couple of harsh decisions in the beginning, like not using phone when I'm with somebody else. And another rule I made for myself was no phones in the bedroom. This itself just freed up so much time for me, and I started feeling good. I started feeling lighter. And this is the thing about change. Once you start, just somewhere you start, you will automatically start seeing more things you can improve. I also started leaving my phone away on bench tops on many occasions. It wasn't a body part anymore. Now what happens after this is where most people struggle. What do you fill your time with? And that's where you need to put all your energy towards. That's where you need to choose very carefully. For me, the first thing that I allowed in my very boring life was meditation. At first, honestly, nothing happened. I would sit there and think, what is this gonna do? There were no big results, there was no instant change. However, after a few weeks, things started to change a little bit. I wasn't feeling as restless during the day. My mind was at ease. And I noticed that my stress levels were dropping. My sleep got much better. I have a healthy sleep cycle and consistent timings now. And I noticed that I just had more energy. And if you look around today, what are the two problems that most people have? They don't have time or they don't have energy. With my digital use and meditation, I now had time and energy both. And from there, things just started stacking. I started journaling, I started reading, I started regular Pilates and yoga. I started educating people on mindful digital use. And I started building a brand. And all of this with my full-time job, 2 kids, managing the house, and everything else that comes with it. I know it sounds a mouthful, but trust me, I still have a ton of free time. I know this thing for sure. If I did not control my digital habits, none of this would have been possible. If I look back and I weigh my life, on one hand, I had scrolling, consuming, and just angry and frustrated me. But on the other side, I now have clarity, growth, a calm mind, knowledge, and learning, and actually building something meaningful. If you're honest, you already know which side you're gonna pick. And here's what's important. You don't need to quit everything. You do not need extreme challenges. You just need to stop consuming unconsciously. Start small. Just pick one thing. I chose meditation. Maybe you don't connect with meditation. For you, it can be something else. Read 1 page, move your body once a week. Just write 1 line on a notepad and watch how thoughts flow out of you and you suddenly are 3 pages down. Choose the one that speaks to you, because these mindfulness activities are what are going to train your brain to live in the present moment. And the next time you go to pick up your phone, remember one thing. When the app is free, you are the product. They are trying to sell your time and your attention to the advertisers. So your goal may not be to quit, but your goal definitely is to take your time and your attention back. Claim it, take it back. It's your time. You should be the one who decides how to use it. My purpose is to help you see what matters in your life and to give you simple tools to get it back. I'll see you in the next one.